Hello, I'm your host, Chase Taylor, along with my co-host, Sarah.
Hi.
Our guest today is Holly Doherty. Holly is the mother of 3 adult children. One is on the autism spectrum. She has worked as a long-term care nurse. Holly also worked for a year in a group home with the mission to understand what the whole family goes through when their family member moves into a group home. From these experiences, and more, she developed the content of the VIF app. VIF stands for Vital Information at Your Fingertips.
Thank you for joining the Social Chase, Holly.
Thank you so much, both of you.
Now, where did the idea come from? Where did the idea come from to develop the VIP app as a self-care planning app?
Well, over the years, I had to bring my son Jack to several different appointments. It would be therapists, doctors, neuropsych doctors, and they would always say, "Can you give me a history of what happened, to Jack?" And I go, "Oh my gosh, there's so much history. How can I possibly go through it in one appointment?" So I thought I was going to develop a really easy way for me to carry that with me and to reference it. So I developed the app to do that.
Yes.
How does it help the person being cared for, and how can they use it?
Well, in the VIF app, there are three different users. You've got the caregiver, and you've got emergency responders actually have their own app, and then the person being cared for has an app called My VIF, and it's a very simple to use app with pictures, and you can just push a button and get the information you need. So we made it really user friendly for everyone involved.
How is the VIP app different from other healthcare apps out in the world?
That is the best question ever. Healthcare apps are really designed for the general information, right? Your blood pressure, your pulse, your height, your weight. We specifically designed this for the unique needs of every individual that has either an intellectual disability or any kind of sickness or disability, right? So we designed the scripts in the care plan so that you can answer them uniquely for your person that you're caring for, either your child or your family.
So, Holly, can you share some of your experience with your son on the autism spectrum to help other parents who are probably going through the same thing?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, throughout the years, especially when I had to take Jack to a lot of different appointments, he had physical therapy, he had speech therapy, he had neuropsych, he had to go to regular therapy. And every time I would go into an appointment, they would want to know what happened that week or what happened for the past month. And I would say, I don't know what happened 5 minutes ago because there's so much in Jack's life that they needed to understand. They'd always want me to observe and document. And there was no easy way to do that. What parent has time to go home and write down everything that went wrong during the day? So that's why I developed this really simple method of documenting the things that the doctors wanted to know. And it was really specific to Jack's needs.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you, Jack, who is now an adult, still gets very frustrated if he's unable to articulate his needs to somebody. So this has given him almost like this little cheat sheet, that he can reference when someone asks a question about his history, and the history is from the time he was a baby all the way up. So that if they wanted to know a question of how long ago did you have hearing issues? When were you diagnosed? And he didn't know that. When were you diagnosed with hearing issues? He can just simply go to the app and reference when he was diagnosed with that. So it helps him a lot.
Now,
Well, Holly, I'm in university right now for the first time, and I'm doing it independently, and I'm very proud of it. So I was wondering, what would the VIF app do to help me and my parents?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you, Jack uses it for the same reasons. There's something in the app called a support network. And it's like your own private network where you can invite as many people, friends, family that you want, okay, into it. There's a chat feature so that if you, if you needed something from mom, you can automatically chat with her and it would go, to her app and you could go back and forth. But what the best part for Jack, what he finds is he's able to store his COVID vaccine card because they ask if you have that, if you go to certain different events, that's right in the app. His school documents that he needs right in the app. His if he could never remember his counselor's name and how to contact them, the MyVIF app makes it really simple because the name is in there, the phone number, the email. All you have to do is push it. So it really helps you to relax while you're at school. This is a new experience, right? I mean, everyone goes and they're so nervous, and so we like to take that little bit of anxiety away to make it easy for anybody navigating a new situation.
Oh, that's nice. Interesting. Support service. I could use one of those. I guess I could try one of those support networks.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So is the data secure? Because with certain apps, they'll say it's secure, but really it's easy for a hacker to steal all your information.
Yeah, we have used top of the line. Everything is encrypted. We have had Special Olympics who's using the app. Their lawyers go through all the legal language for us. And, in the whole world, there's nothing that's 100% secure. But we're as close as it can get. Yes. So, we constantly test and we constantly upgrade to the most secure.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Holly, how can I get the app?
Well, if you have an Apple iPhone, you go to the Apple Store and you'll type in 2 words, VIF, V-I-F, space care. If you have an Android, you go to the Play Store and you just type in VIF, V-I-F. Now, if you're a Special Olympics athlete in Connecticut, you'll need the code 3245 once you get into the store. If you are someone who is not involved with Special Olympics at all, but you want the app, you're going to put in 8511 as the code, and you'll access the app.
That's interesting.
Very interesting. Thank you, Holly.
Well, I thank you both very much.
You're welcome.
For more information, you can visit www.vifcare.com.
Thank you, Sarah, and thanks, Holly, for joining me and Sarah today. Thanks for being my co-host again, Sarah.
You're welcome, Chase.
And thank you both so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. See ya. Welcome back to the Slow to Chase, along with my co-host Sarah.
Hi.
Today we have Beth Lambert, who is a board-certified behavior analyst and a licensed behavior analyst for Connecticut and New York, who works with students 3 to 16 years of age at the Craig River Street at Autism Program. She also has an adult son who is autistic.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So what made you decide to be a behavior analyst?
Well, my son, who has autism, had behavior analysts work with him, and they helped him so much that I wanted to become a behavior analyst so that I could help other students as well.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Chase.
Oh, what does the behavior analyst do?
Well, there's a number of different things they do. It depends on who they work with. Since I work with students with autism, what I do as behavior analyst is I look at the behaviors, we call them maladaptive behaviors of the students. So those are behaviors that are dangerous, either to themselves or to others, destructive, like they might break things, interfering so they can't learn as well because they're doing the behavior, or stigmatizing, where it kind of makes them stand out so that people look at them strangely. So they look at those behaviors, they figure out why the student is doing the behavior. It could be to get things, hey, I want that coffee cup, you won't give it to me, I'll hit you. It could be to escape something. Oh, you're asking me to do my schoolwork, I'll run away and I won't have to do it. It could be just pay attention to me. So if I go up and I poke you, you'll look at me and talk to me. And sometimes the behavior just feels good to do. So we figure out why they're doing those behaviors. And then we also try to come up with a plan to prevent the behavior from happening. How can we make it so they no longer hurt people? And then we also come up with a plan with what to do if they do that behavior. What should people around them do?
So how do you prevent maladaptive behaviors?
Well, there's a number of things that we can do, and we write that up in a plan. We might change the environment, because sometimes things like fluorescent lights bother the people. And so get rid of the fluorescent lights. Or maybe noisy areas. So we might change who's around them so that the noise doesn't bother them. And we also might set things up so, let's say Chase was somebody that would hit people, I'm gonna put a chair between me and Chase. Those kind of things.
Oh.
Okay. And then we also give the person a chance to do the behavior or get what they want before they do the behavior. So things like that might be to build in a break. So you hate sitting here for 20 minutes, so after 10 minutes of work, I'll give you a break. You want that coffee cup, do what I'm asking you to do, you get the coffee cup, those kind of things. And then we also might teach them things so that they don't have to do the behavior in order to get what they want. Okay.
So what might a behavior analyst teach their clients?
Behavior analysts need to work with speech therapists and occupational therapists and physical therapists so that we're all working together to help the student. So some of the things might be to teach them to ask for it. So a lot of the students that I work with are nonverbal. So we might teach them to say the word cup if they want the cup, or others exchange an icon, like for PECs, that shows a cup, or like an electronic program on an iPad where they push cup and it says the word for them. We might teach them to wait for things, because as you guys know, you can't always have what you want right when you want it. So we'll start off and we'll say, hey, wait 5 seconds, you get it. And eventually wait till the end of the session to get it, depending on the student's abilities. And we might teach them to ask for attention, since that's some reasons that they have the behavior. And then we might also teach them skills. If they don't know how to brush their teeth, we'll teach them how to brush their teeth, how to tie their shoe. And that's where you're working with an occupational therapist to know how to teach those things. And if you need that break, how do you ask for it appropriately? And then another thing that we can teach is how to tolerate things that they don't like.
Okay. So can you explain what a toleration program might look like?
Well, there's lots of different toleration programs, and again, you have to think about what is it that the person doesn't like to do. And usually toleration is because they're afraid of something. So like you might have a dentist toleration, or going to the doctor, sometimes they have to draw blood, so how to tolerate that. I've even taught students how to tolerate wearing underwear or jeans. Seems silly, but for some students that makes them afraid because it's different from what they've been wearing. And then I've also had students that will not tolerate having somebody else's thing put in their space. So we do that. And to teach any kind of toleration, you don't get into a big fight. It's not like, all right, I'm going to hold you down and do this dental exam. That would not work. So you take baby steps. Like our school has a dental toleration program. Somebody donated a dental chair. Dentists donated all those dental tools that you use. And so for some of our students, it's just coming in, sitting in the chair, and leaving. And we say, hey, that's great. That's the first baby step. For other students, as soon as you pull out the tools, they don't like it. So we would start with, will you accept it on your hand? And a lot of times what we do is we count. We'll tell them we're going to count to 5, or we're going to count to 10. And that way they know when I've reached 5, it's all done. That tool is done. So it'll be count to 5 on the hand, count to 5 on the cheek, and then count to 5 putting it in the mouth. And then eventually you can just put it in the mouth and not have to do that. Now I have had some students that you not only have to do the hand, but then the shoulder, the cheek, the lip, against the teeth. I mean, it's a lot of baby steps. But that's basically how I go about doing a toleration program. It's very short, simple steps.
Interesting. So please share your journey with autism. Any advice for the parents?
My son is 26 now. I've got a 26-year-old with autism and a 24-year-old that's neurotypical. When he was very young, it was my oldest it was very difficult, but A couple of things that really helped me was getting involved with Connecticut FEAT, which is Families for Effective Autism Treatment. That way I could talk to other parents and find out that I'm not alone. There's others facing this. I got him involved in a applied behavioral analysis program, so I could see that he was learning, even though it was things that my typical child picked up very quickly. It took my older son longer, but he was still learning, and that helped me. My main advice to parents would be not to give up, to keep trying. The other thing that helped me was going into my son's school, seeing what he could do for his teachers, and then asking him to do it for me as well, because I knew he could do it.
Oh, that's sweet. Any advice for our viewers out there?
Just stick with it and share your story with others, and celebrate the little successes that your child has.
The little victories.
Yes.
Thank you for that advice, and we're glad to have you here today.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed coming.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I'm scrolling through Netflix. My mother shows me a show. It's called The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl Next Door, or in the Window.
Some of these show titles be having a long,
Man, that's
be having a long title name.
It's
I mean,
supposed to be a comedy and a horror flick all in the same show. Basically, you have Kristen Bell with wine, pills, casseroles, and a very overactive imagination. Basically, she thinks there's a murder across the street, and she tries to figure out if there is a murder and who did it. And it's supposed to be like this horror flick mixed with a comedy special.
it sounds interesting.
Yes, I haven't watched it yet. I've been browsing Peacock since.
Oh, I've been on it. I was like on Peacock to see like the new Halloween movie. Like it was good.
I've been trying to find old shows that my family usually watches.
What do you watch?
Basically, drama mixed with crime or medical. Like when Criminal Minds was on TV, I would watch that every Wednesday night. After Shamar Moore left, that's when it kind of started going downhill. Just in my personal view.
I mean, Peacock's somewhat helpful. I mean, if we get advertised, but anyway, if not gonna lie, Peacock is pretty good. I mean, there's like some shows. There's a show called Bel Air. There's this new show called Bel Air where it seemed pretty good. It's about this kid that was like in basketball and stuff, and then it was like some stuff happening there where the ball hit like this dude. So where he had to move to Bel Air, and that's how the story starts, where it's made by Will Smith.
Yep, that I think it's supposed to be like a reboot of the
Of-
Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but with like
Yeah.
a darker twist.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've seen like a couple episodes. Like,
I gotta keep that in mind. I've also on Amazon Prime. There's a show called Leverage Redemption.
Leverage Redemption.
Yes, it's supposed to be an updated version of the original show Leverage. It minuses the main character Nate Ford, and they replaced it with Noah Wild, who was on ER for the longest time running. And
Okay.
I think it took out Alec Harrison, the hacker with his younger sister. Elliot, Sophie, and Parker are still in it. The thief, the muscle man, and the grifter. So I've been watching that, and it's only one season, so I'm frustrated about that. I want another
Some of
season.
these shows need like some more seasons besides one.